So now we got to figure out what we're going to do with what we have so far. So again, the whole point has been to just kind of lay things out, make it really simple, really generic. But I noticed there was something I didn't cover, which is the tutorial element over here, right? So there's a part that will actually walk you through a few of the things through reason. And I'll come back to this eventually, but we'll get here. I do want to click every single button. Okay, we're going to get there one step at a time. But right now we're going to put the tutorial to the side, and we're going to focus on at least trying to get through a beat, because if you just focus on everything, options and windows and everything that comes along with this, you will go crazy. And eventually we'll get there. But I just want to show you how to make a basic beat so you at least know how to get started, right? So let's go back to what we have. So I want to focus on an intro, a body, and a conclusion. So let's just let's pretend that what we have so far is the body. Okay. So what I'm going to do is duplicate this. I'm going to stretch this out so it'll repeat from the end over here, and it's starting right there. So the middle, let's make the middle the body. Okay. So how are we going to start the track? Out of all the instrumentations we have, let's see what we're going to pick. So I'm going to mute one. I'm going to mute the string, mute the bass. Let's see what we have left. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to have it start with that. We're going to start with the kick drum. Why not? We'll just keep it. Again, there's no effects on it. It's garbage. It's trash. But it is what it is. We'll get there. Okay. So I'm going to have that bass drum be the first thing that comes in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete anything else that's not the bass drum. This is not the bass drum. This is not the bass drum. This is not the bass drum. Okay. So let's have it play again. I have it on mute. So I'm going to unmute it. So it jumps right into that. So I don't want that to happen yet. We had the bass drum introduce the track. So now I want to maybe have the clap introduce the track. So I'm going to get rid of the string for now. And I'm also going to get rid of the, maybe I have the bass actually do it. And then maybe not the clap. Let me see. Let me mute the clap for now. See if I like the way it sounds, okay? All right, so what I'm going to do is I like the way that sounds. All right, so I'm going to mute everything, and I'm going to have the actual string be the first thing to start it off. And as soon as the string starts, I'm going to bring the clap right in. Okay, so they're essentially both going to start. So I'm going to unmute it. Let's see what it sounds like from the beginning. Here comes the bass. All right, here comes the string. Okay, good. So now we have it leaning in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little more duplicating, because I like what these two sound like, and that's going to be the majority of the song until we start to change that. So I'm just going to duplicate that, and I'm going to shrink this window again so we can see a little bit better. Okay? Okay, so we got the R right there, so it automatically started all over. So now that we have a basic track, we've elongated it. It is now at 24 bars. Longer. We haven't done anything to the sound. It is still garbage. Okay? So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to focus on, let me see, what's the first sound that starts? Boom, boom. All right? So let's play with the bass drum itself. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this here to here, because all I want to do is hear the bass drum. Okay? I don't want to hear anything else in the track, because that's all I'm going to work on. So now that it's looping, I'm going to leave it there. And I don't really need to look at the mixer right now. Okay, I don't need to look at the browser. I don't even need to look at the sequencer. My focus is going to be on the rack. Okay, let me get rid of the sequencer. So now we got to remember where we put the bass drum, right? You see where it is? Right here. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Okay, so now that we have that, we can add some effects. So this is where it's getting a little tricky because you may not know exactly what kind of effects you want to add, right? So before I even get started, you know what? I'm just going to start adding some effects that I'm kind of familiar with, right? A reverb is usually safe. So before we even do that, let's look at some of the actual effects we have, okay? Let's go over those, and then we'll just pick some, and then we'll start working on the bass drum, okay? So we're going to go back to the browser, and we're going to go to, remember this part? We're going to go down to the actual effects. So these are the instruments, these are the effects. So what do we have here? We have the, let me stop this for a second. We have the quartet chorus ensemble. We have the sweeper modulation effect. We have the pulverizer demolition. We have the echo. We have the alligator filter gate. The scream 4. We have the the BV512. We have the RV7000. Okay. We have the Neptune pitch adjuster. We have the soft tube amp. We have the soft tube bass amp. We have the synchronous effect modulator. We have the automatic retro transformer, the master bus compressor, channel dynamics, channel EQ, M-class equalizer, M-class compressor, M-class maximizer, M-class stereo imager, the RV7 digital reverb, which is what I like to play with. It's real simple. The digital delay, foldback distortion, envelope controlled filters, chorus flanger, the PH90 phaser, the UN16 unison. We have the Comp01 compressor limiter, and we have the PEG2 band parametric equalizer. Okay, and that's just inside of the built-in devices. All right, so I'm not going to go over everything now. I just wanted to go through the list just to say the names. But I'm going to create a separate playlist of just effects, at least the built-in effects in Reason. And then I'm going to go through one by one by one, and I'm going to give a tutorial, but that's for later time. So right now, since we have the bass drum, right, I'm just going to add some effects into it. So some of the most generic effects I've grown used to are simple reverb, right? So I'm going to put some reverb in here. See how loud that is? It's set to Hall right now. So what I'm going to do is probably make it a little more dry, right? You see that? Okay. Now you can dampen it. Give it a little decay, or more decay or less decay, right? Or just change the size so it's not so big. Right? You hear that? So it gives it like a Hall sound because it's set to Hall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it from Hall. I'm going to make it like a, let's try, gated. Let's see what that sounds like. So I'm just playing with the sound now. I don't like the gated as much. Let me see if I can change the size. No, that's even more. Let's see with the decay. Let's turn the decay all the way up. I don't like it. Let's give the dampness more. Okay. So I'm going to middle everything out, including the size, and I'm going to go from gated to like small room. I kind of like the small room. And it's really in the middle, so I'm going to make it a little drier. Okay. So let's just leave it there for now. And that's a little reverb. We're going to play with different reverbs. But just to see what it sounds like without the sound effect, let's see. Quick bypass. See how still that is? Hear it now? So it gives it a little change. Okay, so it affects it a little bit, but I like it. So I'm going to leave the digital reverb there. And then what I usually like to do is also play with the delay, right? So I'm going to put some delay in here. It's too much delay for me. I kind of like it though. Okay. I like that. So I'm going to keep it there. Let me see if I play with the feedback a little bit. The feedback is at 40. Let's see if we can move that. Let's see what it sounds like at 127. Too much, right? You hear that? Okay, so let's bring it back down to 40, where it's reasonable. Let's try it at 20. So it still has that. I like that. I'm going to keep it at 20 for now. Now let's play with the steps. So we have the step length, right, for delay. 1/16. Now if you want to get fancy and there's something you may want to do, put the click on just so you know where you are. Okay, that's annoying me already. I'm going to turn that off for now. So I'm going to go back to 1/16. I like that better. Let me try with the click again. Alright, it's going to stay at 1/16, and I'm going to play with the steps. MS. No, it's too much. I don't like that. Nope. Let's keep it there for now. So we got a little delay. Okay. We got a little reverb. What else can we put on here to make it sound a little more pronounced? Okay. Digital delay, chorus flanger. I used to use the unison a lot. So let me throw this in here, see if what it'll do. Alright, let me see, it's all the way wet. Dry. Play with the voice count. Okay, let's keep it there. Let's see what the detune is at 40. I don't hear much of a difference with the detune. Let's see if I can change. Okay, I like the unison, but I'm gonna keep it light. And actually, the delay is starting to piss me off a little bit. So I'm gonna actually turn that a little down, so it's not as much, so it's not as present. Let's see if I can give it a less feedback. It's at 20. Okay. So instead of 20, I gave it 8. I can still hear it a little, but it's not a lot. Now it's 10. So it's still a little delay, just a little. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna leave this for now. I've changed it a little, nothing major. Now I want to go look at some of the other sounds. Right. Now remember, let's go back to the sequencer so we can see where we are on the track. So all we have is that introducing the song. So I'm going to pull this back a little bit so we can hear the other instruments. See how they start to come in. So I want that bass drum to be a little bit louder. I don't want it to be too loud though. Alright, so I'm going to play with the actual bass. I'm going to keep it there and I'm going to mute out the bass drum. So don't hear that. So sometimes I've noticed if I listen to something like long for a while, it irritates me because I'm listening to it for a while. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is actually start to work on the bass drum sound. So we played with the actual drum sound. Okay, and we'll pick that up in the next video.